Today we're going to work on Access, Chapter 3, Greater North Wind Traders. We're going to make some queries, work on some formulas, explore the expression builder, and more. Let's get started. Step 2. Create a query using query design. We want to come to the Create tab, go over to the Queries panel. Be careful, we're not going to use the wizard, we're going to use Query Design. Now, notice that it's asked us for the Customers table and the Orders table. So from the Customers table, include the fields company name, contact title, and phone. From the Orders table, you're going to include the order ID and order date and shipping date. Right now, let's just get those tables on board. If you don't see the Show Table dialog box, you can click Show Table right here, and then you can choose your tables. The first table we need is the Customers table. I'm going to double click Customers. The second table we need is the Orders table. I'm going to double click Orders. And the third and final table we need, we don't need a third table. Let's add some fields. I'm going to close the Show Table box, and I'm going to open my tables so I can see all my fields. This helps me. You can do what works best for you. From the Customers table, add the company name. That's right here. I can double click that, or I can drag. On that example, I double clicked. The next one is contact name. Let's do this one by dragging. So I find contact name and I just click and I drag down into the field I want to put it in and I let go. If you're doing a lot, clicking works best and it just pops in the next column field. All right, we have company name and contact name. Let's do contact title. I'm going to come to contact title and double click. And finally, phone. We come to phone and double click. And now we've gotten our first 4 fields out of our Customers table. The next thing we need to work on is the Orders table. So from the Orders table, we need the Order ID field. We need order date. Let's get order ID first. Order ID is our primary key. And then order date. And then ship date. That's the correct order. Now it asks you to run the query and examine the results. So let's do that. We're going to come up, we're still in the Design tab and hit Run. Our query shows up in Datasheet View, and look, you have about 11 rows. Everything's alphabetical by company name, and we have lots of ship dates from 2012 to 2016. It now says Save the query as shipping efficiency. I'm going to come up to query 1 and right click and say Save. It'll go, what do you want to save it as? I'm going to say shipping efficiency and then click OK. And that's the end of step 2. Step 3, add a calculated field named days to ship to calculate the number of days taken to fill each order. Okay, right now we're in Datasheet View. That's where we enter data. We want to come over to View and go back to Design so we can enter this formula. It says a new calculated field, so we're going to come over here to the open field and we're going to type days to ship. When you work with Access, it's imperative that you're very careful about your spelling, capitals, and spaces. Field names, which all these right here are field names, do not have spaces. They do have capitals for the different words. We even capitalize too. There are several ways to build a formula. This first formula I'm going to type out with you. I'm going to close my All Access objects so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to expand my column, nothing that you can't do at home, just expand it so you can see me type it. Later, we'll use the builder to make some formulas. I have days to ship. I'm going to do colon and a space. And then I'm going to go a square bracket. That's to the right of P. And type the word shipped date. That is the name of my field. I'm going to do the close bracket, which is also to the right of P. And then I'm going to do a subtraction symbol with the open bracket, the square bracket of order date field. And notice how careful I am to have a capital O for order and a capital D for date, and closed. That is the end of our formula. And just so you know what you're looking at, I wanted you to see it. This is the correct formula: days to ship, colon, square bracket, ship date, square bracket, minus, square bracket, order date, square bracket. Again, we hand type this. There's more efficient and accurate ways to complete this task, but I did want you to see the different ways to run a formula. So it asks us to run the query. Examine your results. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fields. We even have our days to ship, everything from 3 days to ship to 41 days. And now it says save the query. I'm going to right click on shipping efficiency and save. And that is the end of step 3. Step 4, add criteria to limit the query results to include any order that took more than 30 days. Let's go ahead and take our shipping efficiency query and go back to design view. We want to look over here in days to ship. This is where we've been working, and get to criteria. It's that row right underneath the check boxes. See the word criteria? And we want to go shift greater than, which is right above your period, and type the number 30. This is going to bring back only items that took more than 30 days to ship. I'm going to show you what that should look like in kind of a blow-up picture here. Well, it's not too blown up. But you see, you want ship date, days to ship. We're going to do criteria, and that's our greater than 30. Okay? And that's the end of step 4. Step 5. Add the quantity field from the order dates table and the products name field from the products table to the query. So we're going to kind of go ahead and come on over here and close this up a little bit so we can see where we're working. We're going to be working right here. And I'm going to come back over and go to show table. And I'm going to add the order details table, which is the 4th one, and double click. And I'm going to add the products table and double click, and close my show table dialog box. Now I want to make sure I add the right fields. The first field that's asked for is the quantity field from the order details table, and that's our 3rd field. I'm going to double click it. And then from the products table, we want the product name field and the product name field from the products table. So that's the 2nd field. I double click that. Sort the query in ascending order by company name. Now we've worked really far to the right. You may have to come down here to your scrolling and scroll left to come back so you can see company name. Under sort the query, we click the sort pull down menu and we pick ascending. So our A names will be at the top and our Z names will be at the bottom. And that's the end of step 5. Step 6, add the captions days to ship to our days to ship field. Well, here's our days to ship field. That's where we made our formula. Click in that field and then come up to the design tab on the property sheet and select the property sheet. Once you do that, we can type a caption. Type days to ship. I have found too that if you click off days to ship row into another row of the property sheet, then your days to ship caption has been saved for credit. And now we're asked to switch to data sheet view to see the final results of our query. Let's do that. We're going to come over here to view and go to data sheet. It runs the query for us. And look at this. We have 4 fields and we have 41 to 39 to 37 days shipped. So we knew we wanted over 30 days to ship. And that tofu with 16 quantities is going to take 41 days to ship. Seems like a long time for tofu. That's for us now to save and close the query. And that's the end of step 6. Step 7, create a query using query design. I'm going to come over to create. Again, I don't want to use the wizard. I'm using query design. I click it once and it asks me, we can close our property sheet over here. I'm going to come back to show table so I can bring the table. It asks me to add the orders, details, products, and customers tables. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 tables we're going to add. And let's start there. So we're going to do the orders table, double click. We're going to do the order details table, which is above it, double click. We're going to do the products table next to the bottom. And then finally, we're going to do the customers table close to the top. I'm going to close that. And I'm going to go ahead and pull down my fields so I can see them. And we're asked to add the order ID and order date. Not very much from the orders table. So order ID, double click, order date. Add the order ID and order date from the orders table. Set both fields, total rows to group by. At the moment, we don't have a total row, but because we're clicked in either one of these fields, we can come back up here to the Design tab in the Show High panel and click Totals. When we do that, it will add a total row for us, and the default for access is group by, so we don't have to worry about typing the group by. And that's the end of step 7. Third chapter, step 8. We're working on a query and we're adding a calculated field. Add a calculated field in the third column. Here's our third column. Name the field extended amount and get the field so it should multiply the quantity ordered from the order details table by the unit price for the products table. All right, let's start there. And this time, instead of hand typing the formula, let's try the expression builder. So I'm going to click in the field. I'm going to come up here on the Design tab and click Builder. I've added a copy of the formula so you see it a little bit larger. This is one of the first times we've worked on Expression Builder. Over here in Expression Elements, we have the query we're working on, Query 1. We have functions. These functions are components that are math formulas that we will eventually use, and math formulas from Excel too. 3 Access Video is actually the name of my database. So that's the database you've been building. And if we click the plus, it shows you all those parts. Tables, queries, forms. We don't have any queries or any forms or reports right now, but we do have some tables. So let's get to work. What I usually do is I open that database under Expression Elements, that's my database, and then here I'm asked to work with the order details table and the products table. So I know I need to go into these tables. So I hit the plus and I expand that. Let me get a little bit bigger so you can see. And so what I want to do is find the field that is in the orders details table, the quantity ordered. So the first thing I'm going to do is double click order details table. Then in the expression category are the fields for my order details table. I'm going to double click quantity, and you'll see that it started the math up here. From the order details table, we want the quantity field. Now I want to multiply that, and you'll look here in our formula that's typed out. That's a multiplication symbol, which is Shift and 8 on your number keys beneath your F keys. You don't really want to do your number lock keys that may or may not have the multiplication symbol. So I'm going to go Shift and 8, which gives me that multiplication symbol. And now it tells us we need the unit price from the products table. So I'm going to come back to my expression elements. I'm going to double click the products table. I'm going to double click the units price. And you can see how I've got products table and units price. That's set now. What I want to do now is I like to wrap parentheses around. You don't have to do that. I went Shift and 0. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I just took my arrow and moved my mouse back to the beginning of my formula. I'm going to go Shift and 9. You could click your mouse, but I find this easier. I'm now going to move my mouse all the way back before that parentheses, and I'm going to put my title. I'm going to name my field extended amount. I do not want spaces, but I do want capitals for both extended and amount. And now I need a colon, which is Shift colon, that key to the right of your L. You want a colon to access the extended amount. It's your field name, and everything to the right of the colon is your formula. Once you have it to match, as you see here, and also in the expression builder, we're ready, I believe, to go on and click OK. Since it's asking us to format the calculated fields, I'm going to go ahead and go OK. And that would get our formula all here in our field. I'm going to expand it so you can see that formula. Making sure I'm clicked here in this column for our formula, I'm going to come up here to Property Sheet. And at Property Sheet, it's asking us to change the calculated field to currency. So that's under Format. We click the pull down menu and we choose currency. It's going to give us a dollar amount, a decimal, and 2 periods. And then it asks us to change the caption to total dollars. You do want to click off of each row onto another row in the property sheet to save. I'm going to type total, and I can put spaces, dollars. And again, I'm going to click off the row to make sure Access saves. Change total row to the extended amount to sum. All right, our total row is down here below, and we're going to click the group by where we have a pull down and make that go to sum. And that's the end of step 8. It's asking us to make another calculated field. I'm going to go ahead and close my property sheet and click here in the 4th column. And it's saying we want a new field named discounted amount. Now, I could type that, but I found it's easier to go ahead and bring up the expression builder. At Builder, I'm going to click the builder. And now it's asking us to add a calculated field in the 4th column that multiplies the number of items ordered, the price per item, and the discount field. This will calculate the total discount. So I'm going to go ahead and open my Access database. Yours may be named a little bit differently. I'm going to look for some tables here. I need the order details table, the products table, and the customers table. So I'm going to open the tables, and I'm going to click the order details table. And from the order details table, I need the quantity items or number items ordered, which is quantity. So I'm going to double click quantity, and then we're going to go Shift and 8 and multiply that by the products table and the price or unit price, and we're going to go Shift and 8, and multiply that by customers and their discount. So I double click customers and I double click discount, which is way down at the bottom. Now I'm going to scroll my mouse to the beginning. I just use the arrow keys. I'm going to type discount and amount, and then I'm going to go shift and colon to make sure that Excel knows this is Access knows this is a field name. We're asked to format fields, so I'm going to go ahead and go OK to our formula. I'm still clicked in this column for discount amount, so I'm going to come to Property Sheet. It asks us to calculate the field as currency. I come over here to Format and my pull down, and I select currency. Click off that so it saves, and add a caption of discount amount. The caption is next to the bottom, and it asks us to type discount and amount AMT as abbreviated with no period. And then it tells us to come back and change the total row to a sum. So we're going to come back here. It's group by. There's our total row all the way across. And we're going to click that and go to sum. Run the query, save the query. I'm going to go ahead and close the property sheet. Just makes it a little neater. Hit run. And there's our discounted amount in currencies and our total dollar amount in currency formulas. And then we go and return to design view. That is the end of step 9. Access chapter 3, we're wrapping up step 9. It asks us to add a total row as sum under discounted amount, which we did. Run the query, which we have. And we have total dollars amount and discount amount. And then it asks us to save the query as order summary. I right click the query one tab. I type order summary and click OK, and then return to design view. That's the end of step 9. Step 10, add a criteria to the order date field so that the orders made between January 1st, 2016 and December 31st, 2016. So for the whole year of 2016 are displayed. Let's start there. Okay. Add criteria to the order date field. Here's our order date field. We want to come down here to the criteria row, and it's asked us to do it between. Now, this is what the formula should look like when we're done. I'm going to type between. I'm going to put a space, and then I'm going to do hashtag, which is shift number 3. 1-1-2016, which is January 1st, 2016. I'm going to go shift 3 again for that hashtag to appear. And I'm going to make this a little bit wider so you can see what we're doing. I'm going to go space and a capital and space, and then shift 3 for our hashtag, or number sign or pound sign, people call it, 12-31-2016, and then I'm going to go shift 3 again. We've just said we want to return the fields in the order date that were ordered between January 1st, 2016 and December 31st, 2016. Now it says change the total row to where. So here's our total row under order date. Right now it says group by. We want to go to where. And the expression will display only orders created in 2016. Run the query. And now we know these are just the 2016 orders. And we're going to go ahead and right-click the order summary and save. And right-click the order summary and close. And that's the end of step 10. Step 11, create a copy of the order summary query. Here's our order summary query. I left click on it to highlight it, right click it, copy. And then I click back in the white space of all access objects here. Just click, and then I right click and paste. It'll ask me, what do I want to save this query as? Well, I want to call it order financing. So I'm just going to retype. And I click OK. And now you can see we have an order financing query, an order summary, and a shipping efficiency. Order summary is the one we copied. Be careful. Access is going to go back and highlight that, but we want to work to order financing. It says switch to design view. I can right click and go to design view, or I can double click, open it, and go to design view here. Remove the discounted amount field. Well, here's our discounted amount. I'm going to get right up there in the top and highlight it and hit my delete button. That's the end of step 11. Step 12. Add a new field using the expression builder. So I'm going to click here in our fourth field, and I'm going to go up to expression builder. It's saying we want a new field called sample payment, and we want to insert the PMT function. Here's what we're going to look at. 0.5% interest rate divided by 12 months. We need the number 12 for the number period of arguments. And for the calculated field, we want extended amount. That's important. Don't forget that. And the 0 for future values and types. So we've come and used our database before. This time we're going to use functions. Click the pull-down menu for functions, the plus. Click built-in functions and go on over to financial and expression categories. Over in expression values, double-click PMT. And you see the PMT very similar to Excel if you've worked with that. And now we're just going to click once in rate, and we're going to type 0.05 divided by, which is the slash underneath your question mark, and 12. Kind of hard to see. It's hiding it behind the formula here. This is like my formula. And I'm going to click once in the number period. And we want 12 for 12 months. Okay. And then in present value, this is where we're going to find the extended amount field. So I click once in present value, I go Shift and E, and it gives me all the choices for E. These are functions. The employees is a table, but we want extended amount field. So we'll double click extended amount. In future value, it told us to use 0, and I click once in type, and we also put 0, and then we go OK for our completed. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I forgot to give it a title. Right now, Access has named our formula expression 1. I'm going to come back and hit builder. I'm going to come up here for expression 1 and backspace. You could use your cursor. And I'm going to type sample payment. Sorry, I did this in backwards order. I'm going to go Shift and colon. Then we know that our field is called sample payment and that we've done the PMT function for an interest rate of 5% per 12 months for a period of 12 months on the extended amount fields. Let's go OK. That's got our formula, and that's the end of step 12. Step 13, change the total row, which is right here, to expression. So we're going to just click that pull down menu and select expression. For the sample payment field, change the format for the sample field to currency. Since we're still highlighted here, we can come to the property sheet that will affect the sample payment field. We can come to format and go down to currency. Run the query and verify that the second order has a sample payment of $125.84. I'm going to come up here and hit run. And sure enough, we have $125.84. The parentheses mean it's a negative value. It's owed. And now we save the query. Right-click, save. And now we close the query. Right-click, close. And that's the end of step 13. Welcome back to working with Chapter 3 in Access. Step 14, we're going to create a copy of the order summary query. So I'm going to highlight the order summary query by clicking it with my mouse. I'm going to right click and take a copy. Then I left click in all access objects. I right click and paste. And I'm going to type order summary by country. And I'm going to click OK. Now, do notice we were making the copy of order summary, so that is under queries, and that was the one we were working with, but the new one happened to be beneath it, so we need to double click that one to open it. And it wanted us to go in design view, so you could have right clicked and gone to design view, or since you already have it open like I do, I'm going to just go to view and go to design view. We don't need the property sheet just yet, and that's the end of step 14. Oops, there's another part to step 14. It says replace the order ID field, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. I click on it and hit delete, and then it asks me to add the country field. So I'm going to go into the customers, and here's my country, and I'm just going to click it and drag it in front of extended amount. You see that little plus by my mouse? It's pretty tiny, but it tells you where you're going to drop the field, so put it right here. If you can't get that to work, you can always don't do this again at home, but you can always drop it here in this field, then click and highlight that field, and see how my black line moves that entire column over to the beginning. So you could also do it that way. I'm going to delete this extra one here, but I just wanted you to know there's more than one ways to get a field. There's lots of ways to get a field there at the beginning. And that is truly the end of step 14. Step 15, run the query. Okay, we've done what we were supposed to do. We added country. We're going to come over here to run. And it says, examine the summary records. There should be 5 countries. There's France, Mexico, Spain, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. Switch to design view. Going to go over to view and design. And change the sort order so the country with the highest extended amount. Okay, extended amount is that field we calculated. We want to sort, so the highest extended amount is first. So the country that paid the most. And that would be descending order. And the lowest last. Run the query and verify the results. So let's run again. Sure enough, France paid out $2,720 and had a $2,772 discount. The United Kingdom paid the least amount with $300.15. It asks us to right-click and save the query. We can also right-click and close the query. I believe our final step of step 16 is to actually upload our query, but let's make sure. Step 16, close your database and exit access and submit the database as directed. For us, that's uploading it to my IT lab. Thanks, guys. It's been great.